Hello, folks. Thought I'd take advantage of an empty hour in the lab here at Lewis to demonstrate a way of generating rhythms that was shown to be by one of my composition professors, Paul Martin Zonn at the University of Illinois. And it's a way of generating rhythms that keeps classical bar structures of like 2, 4, 8, 16 measure units, but generating rhythms in a, well, quote unquote, non-classical way, put it that way. And the process is as follows. Number one, write a 1-bar rhythm. And write a 1-bar rhythm. I just want to make sure how, am I writing that's absolutely unreadable? Of course it is. It's absolutely unreadable. Just hang on a second. We do that again. So to write a 1-bar rhythm, put it down here. 1. Write a 1-bar rhythm. Okay, for example, this. Hopefully I'm on this. So for an example in 3/4, a rhythm that looks like this. So you've got 8th note, 8th rest, 8th note, dotted 8th, 16th, 8th note, 8th rest. Okay, and then your second step, write same rhythm backwards, like so. 8th rest, 8th note, 16th note, dotted 8th, like so, and 8th note, and 8th rest. Okay, so you generate a 2-measure rhythm that looks like that. Okay, now let me just move this over so you can. I need to continue now. The next thing to do is to work back. So you now have a 2-measure phrase. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to vary each rhythm or each note by either changing the note's attack point or its duration for each of these notes. So here you've got an 8th rest and an 8th note. So you can vary this one's attack point by doing this, by moving the 8th note in and making that a 16th note. Okay, so that's that one. Now this one, that's a dotted 8th note. So you could either vary this one's attack point or duration. So let's shorten this dotted 8th note into a 16th note, which generates this, like so, a 16th note. And then with this one, if you move that 8th note over a little bit, like so, and then move this over, say like so. So, and what you get then is notating that out again. Hang on a second. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. We've got the 8th note over here, and then an 8th rest. So you get a 16th note and an 8th rest here. So 16th note, 16th rest, 16th note, which is this thing varied by attack point, and this varied by attack point, and this 8th note is that one just moved over it, starting at its attack point. Okay, now and then what you want to do is you want to do this again. Just hang on a second. I hate it when it. All right, so like so. Now, all right, and then you do this to that. All right, so and then you got this measure. You can vary that attack point by like this. All right, this is 8th note. Pardon me. This is 8th rest, 8th note. So I'm going to change that to 8th note and 8th rest, like so. This, I think what I'll do with that 16th note is I want to move that over here to make that 16th note. So there's that 16th note, right? Now here, you now have a 16th rest there, right? And if we move this 8th note over here, oh, say something like this. Yeah, make that 8th note look like this. Put it there, like so. And then put this, make that dotted that dotted 8th note. Extend that one's duration, like so. You get something like this. Let me write that out a little bit more plainly. So you've got a 16th note tied over here, and then a dotted 8th, like so. Okay, so what I've done, so now, having worked this 2-bar rhythm using this variation technique of either changing the attack point or the duration of whatever note, you now have, instead of 2 measures, this now extends to 4 measures. Right? There's a 2-measure space here. And then this is and adding that to it, you create a 4-measure space. And so 2 becomes 4, which would become 8 if you kept doing this process over and over again. So 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Those are all classical music. Those are all classical phrase units, like a 2-measure phrase, a 4-measure phrase, or 4 measures, like so and so, and then et cetera, et cetera. So you get a very classical kind of phrase of bar length, right? Bar duration, but with a different way of generating rhythms. Okay. I hope that's clear. I find this often very helpful in my own compositional technique. It's a good way of generating rhythms, and of course, it's generating a basic rhythm. And as you're writing along, something occurs to you, then you can change this as well. So write a 1-bar rhythm, write the same rhythm, write rhythm backwards. And then for each one of the notes working backwards, you vary either the attack point or the duration to get another 2 measures, another 4 measures, another 8 measures, another 16 measures, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a quick way of generating a lot of interesting, or possibly interesting material. Okay? Anyway, I thought that was sort of interesting. I thought I'd pass that on to you. Hopefully you'll find that useful. In a somewhat, as to reference and quote Tom Lehrer, in a somewhat bizarre set of circumstances. But, you never know. All right, I think that's it for now. Have a good day.